YouTube. So I had just filmed a first impressions video, and I had put a picture on Instagram, and then I got a lot of questions about how I felt about this palette. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a review in here really quickly and let you know some of the feelings and, you know, my thoughts on this palette are. And I also wanted to let you know how this wears, because that was my major drawback to this whole palette. Like, I didn't want it because originally I saw a video where it didn't wear well, but I've only been wearing this for maybe like an hour, if that, and so I really can't give you my whole thoughts on it. So what I'm going to do is just wear this all day, and then I'm going to come back to you at the end of the day and let you know how it wore. And so far so good. Like, it just looks beautiful, and I ended up really liking the look that I came out with. But, you know, there are some drawbacks to this palette. There are a few drawbacks. The smell might be something for somebody that they don't like. The price point is not that great. And the color assortment, there's a lot of repeats. But I'm going to test this throughout the day and let you know how I feel about it. Let me just jump into this review and let you know what my thoughts are so far. Okay, so this retailed for $45, and I picked this up at the JCPenney Sephora. And I've noticed a lot of people with this palette have a lot of fallout. And honestly, the only one I really had a lot of fallout with was the peach butter one. When I went into it, it did have a lot of fallout. A lot of, you know, I had to tap my brush pretty good, but it's a lighter color, so if it falls, it's not that bad. I didn't really have a lot of fallout with any of the others, but then I lightly tapped after I saw how sensitive this palette was. I'm going to test this throughout the day and let you know how it wears, because that was one of the things that had me decided against picking this palette up, is when I saw that it wore really awfully by the end of the day. It was like disappeared, it melted into this person's skin. I was like, I don't think I want this palette. Why would I want to spend that much money? It is very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, if it's not gonna, you know, stand up to an all-day day of makeup, then why would you want it? It was just gonna look like a big old mess. I did do the typical primer of using soft ochre. I used soft ochre because I wanted to do, you know, what a lot of people will actually use as a primer. I didn't use concealer. I noticed that that person did use concealer, and sometimes concealer will end up being too emollient, or, you know, it's just not, at the end of the day, it's not a good primer. You actually might want to try using an eye primer. Not to say that I don't trust that person's opinions, because I actually really love watching that person's videos. I already mentioned her already, Raw Beauty Christie. I actually really love, but maybe, just maybe, I'm just saying, maybe using the concealer as a primer wasn't such a great primer. So I'm going to test this throughout the day. I've gotten a lot of questions on Instagram so far about it. They're asking me, you know, am I going to put a review and all that? So I just wanted to kind of, you know, wrap this up and let you know. I thought that they blended very nicely. Like, I thought that it just all blended very nicely. The color that has a little bit of shimmer, which is called Peach Sangria, that one kind of was a little weird. Like, it just was slightly weird, but it just looks beautiful right now. So you can see it's a lovely, lovely palette. Like, it's just right up my alley. I love warm palettes, just sucker me right in. But I could see that there are a few drawbacks. Like, these two colors are basically the same. This one has just a little bit more of a peachiness. It would have been kind of neat if they would have put a black. Now, most of these colors are all warm tone, but this brown here leans to the cool tone. It leans on the cool tone side. So it would have been neat had this color maybe been excluded. This one right here, it's just not necessary. So if this would have been more of a warm brown, then it would have been a complete total package warm palette. But this, I mean, it to me, even swatched out, it looks like a cool gray brown. I don't know. And it did feel a little bit dry. Like, one of the girls that follows me on Instagram was saying that she felt like they felt dry. And swatching that, it did feel dry. But applying it to my eyelids, they felt very creamy. They blended out like butter. Like, they just applied like butter. So the feel of the actual swatch is not conclusive, or is not, it's not the application that you're going to get on your lids. Like, to me, it just felt very buttery on my lids. But I can see how the swatching, like she had said, it does, some of them do feel dry, but on my lids, I mean, I thought that they applied like butter, like butter. I'm going to just, you know, continue wearing this throughout the day, see if it lasts, and then I will give you my final thoughts on this whole Peachy palette. You know, if you want fine details, if you want all the specs, you can always Google those, but 12 eyeshadows at 1.25 grams, and it's $45 for this palette. The scent on this, like I was saying in my first impressions video, you have to really get up to it, and it does smell like a peach smell, but it smells like, I don't know, it smells like a perfume, like a peach perfume. Kind of reminds me of like the old Bath and Body Works peach perfume or peach spray. That is what the scent reminds me of, but it's not an overwhelming scent where when I open it up, I'm like knocked away, blown away by the scent, because the actual peach palette, that one, like as soon as you open it, you can smell it. This one here, I don't feel like I smell it right away. I feel like I have to really get into it. And applying them to my eyes, I didn't smell it at all. Now, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about the other products in this line that you can really smell it and it's very overwhelming. So if you are overwhelmed by that, you're not going to be overwhelmed by this, I don't think. Like, I don't think it, you know, it's overwhelming, and I can't smell it on my eyes. Like, I didn't smell it on application. But so far so good. Do you really need this palette? It's a beautiful warm palette if you really know that you're going to use it. I ended up having to go with a shimmer right in, you know, in my inner corner, because I felt like it just lacked just a little bit. Just a little bit. So it's a beautiful palette, but I don't know. So I'm going to test and wear it throughout the day, and then I will let you know what I feel about it at the end of the day. So I will see you in a little bit. Bye. We are at the 5-hour mark, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and type in what it was like at like 8 to 10 hours, because hubby will be home soon, and it's just really hard to record when he gets home because he's in the same room that I record in. So I did itch my eye, and I had some transfer on my finger, so I think that this little bald spot is from when I itched my eye, because my eyes are pretty itchy right now. But the side that has been left alone still looks quite, you know, looks the same. I don't think that may not be as vibrant, but that's really like digging and looking hard. But right now, seems to be holding up okay. So I will let you know. And just my final thoughts. I did think that it wore okay. It did, like the vibrancy to me did go down a little bit, and I ended up deciding to return this because I just don't feel like it's an all-inclusive palette. It needs a darker color, and I just need a little bit of shimmer in my life. So this palette, although it's beautiful, I am returning it, and it did make my eyes itch. Like, looking at other people's reviews, I did notice that they itched also. So I don't know if it's something in this palette, maybe it's the fragrance, but I am returning it. It's a lovely palette, but I think I just have other palettes that I would probably reach for over this one. So just letting you know my final thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.